Welcome back to the Shipyard and a long overdue top 10. I promised this last week with the card of the week, which was Quark. And I said, hey, I'm going to do the top 10 cards to hide under Quark. Well, a slight twist on it. The top 10 surprisingly good Quark hides. Um, they're still very good cards to hide under Quark, and I'll talk about them. But some cards are obvious. Some cards are surprises. And I think Quark needs to move beyond just the obvious. Of course, obvious are still good surprises because are they there, are they not? Who knows? But I think there's a sleeper, there's a dark horse to what can go underneath Quark, and we're not talking about that stuff. So let's first talk about Quark, and then we'll jump into the top 10 list. Okay? So Quark, at the start of the game, place one non-Borg tech or weapon upgrade with a cost of 5 or less face down beneath Quark. At any time, start of phase, you may discard Quark to flip the upgrade that is beneath this card face up and deploy it to your ship even if it exceeds your ship's restrictions. Meaning you can put a tech on a non-tech ship. You can put a weapon on a non-weapon ship. You can go through all of those things, and you have a lot of potential here. So let's get into specifics. Number 10, tactical stations. Now, I debated even putting this on my list because tactical stations, tactical station, I guess I should fix that. There, tactical station, is one of these cards that gives you a weapon slot at the start of the game. So in a lot of ways, it is better to equip at the start. However, it also has neat application coming in mid-game. If your opponent doesn't know that it exists, they can't necessarily plan for a big attack. You are jumping in and you're saying, hey, I'm going to boost my attack dice by 1, or I'm going to discard tactical stations right away and get 2 extra dice. You've got that flexibility, and I think that there's something there, something that we don't see a lot of, and maybe something that can be better capitalized with tactical station getting hidden underneath Quark. I don't know. Then again, tactical station often gets run with Sakona, and you want the extra weapon slot. 2 points on tactical station really isn't that big of a deal. So depends on how you're playing, how you're running things. I'm not saying by any means that tactical station is the be all end all of things, but it is somewhat surprising. Number 9, shield adaptation. Now this is a rude awakening. Because anytime you see this card, you start going, "Oh, really? I don't wanna." Yeah, it's discard this card if the ship has no active shields. No big deal. Just make sure you don't have active shields. Also, nice to keep it hidden if you see a bunch of projected stasis fields or even one projected stasis field across from you. You can kind of sit on it, wait for a PSF attack, and then bring shield adaptation in. But yeah, then you get that when defending, the attacking ship rules -2 attack dice. When firing a primary weapon, -1. Shield adaptation, solid defensive card. And smuggling it in underneath Quark is, a solid way to sneak that into your opponent, and it might alter the way that they're approaching how they do combat. Number 8, jammed communications. I just talked about this on the Gornaris review, so I won't go way in detail here. But jammed communications just messes with the opponent. It says, hey, all those friendly effects you have going on, you don't get to use those. And that really can mess with the way people fly their ships. If you know that jammed communications exists, you're going to start saying, "Oh, okay, I need to target that." But just having to deal with it later, you're kind of going, I don't know what to do, and now you're dependent upon a strategy. You've committed to something, and jammed communications really does come in and muck all of that up. So yeah, moving on. Number 7, Cloaked Mines. Cloaked Mines, very good card. I mean, one of the like 3 standard plays underneath Quark. And I mean, Cloaked Mines have been talked to death. But yeah, they are worth highlighting here because, well, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't. Either the Klingons or the Romulans, but really, if you're going to smuggle something in, smuggle Romulan Cloaked Mines. Just do it. They're better. You get more range on your ship placement, more range or less range restrictions on the enemy ships. Yeah, 2-2 for Romulan versus within range 1 of your ship and 3, not within 3 of an enemy ship on Klingons. Really surprised Romulans never got errated, but yeah, putting Cloaked Mines underneath Quark is, well, mean, but also highly effective. I've talked about projected stasis field in this video. So, you know what's better than hiding shield adaptation and waiting for a projected stasis field? Having a projected stasis field. Because if your opponent doesn't know that projected stasis field exists, they might fly their fleet differently. And all of a sudden you come in and you've planned your dials, and then you say, oh, by the way, I'm flipping my Quark card. Hey, look, I've got a PSF. And then you move, and now you've disabled all their shields, and they're not going to be able to make an attack. And yeah, it's... throws a spanner in the works, and they're not exactly going to care for that. And also, they're probably going to have a dead ship when they really weren't planning on having a dead ship. Not that anyone necessarily plans on that, but you get the idea here. Number 5 is Interphase Generator. And I like Interphase Generator as kind of a surprise include, because even though it doesn't have the best timing, it's essentially bringing in this surprise attack cancellation that your opponent doesn't know that you have. Also, because you only check legality the moment you flip the card, you can actually run a second interphase underneath Quark on a ship. So you can have an interphase, Quark an interphase. Once you've used an interphase, you can reveal Quark and have a second interphase. Only really useful on a big Romulan ship, but a sneaky include. At least I'm 99% sure that's the way it works. I could very well be wrong, though. But yeah, Interphase is this really solid defensive card, and if you're not thinking about it, you're probably doing it wrong. Also, you know how the Valdor class doesn't have a tech slot except for the Saran, the newest one? Well, here's how you get an interphase generator on that ship. You Quark it on. All right, number 4 is truly a sneaky card. It's Sabotage Systems. And I'll be honest, this card had not occurred to me until I went really just looking at every tech and every weapon in the game. So what does Sabotage Systems do? Well, it's a planning phase card. So it's a start of planning phase. So you can flip Quark at the start of planning phase and then Sabotage Systems at the start of planning phase, right? It's order of operations your choice. But you discard this card, target a ship at range 1 to 3, swap the primary weapon value and agility of the target ship until the end of the round. It's the best possible timing. And since they won't have seen it coming, you get maximum effect on this card. This is one of the best surprises you can hide underneath Quark. Now, is Sabotage Systems a great card? No, but I think it's a good card, and I don't think it's terrible. I think it has a place in the game in this weird disruption setup, and I like what exists. So I'm all for saying, hey, Sabotage Systems is something you can bring and really mess with your opponent. Number 3 is Thoughtmaker. Now, Thoughtmaker was another one of those weird cards, but Thoughtmaker essentially says, planning phase, after every ship has done their dial, discard Thoughtmaker, target a ship within range 1 to 2, look at it, change its maneuver dial to a 1 or 2 green, and that's that. They can place an aux power to ignore the new maneuver and not move. Now, this can only go on a Ferengi ship, but now with Lurin's Bird of Prey being a thing, and the Ferengi Brel, Thoughtmaker has added utility. And in places where lure and faked messages are restricted, Thoughtmaker is your extra card, your extra means of some maneuver control. And I think that Thoughtmaker is poised for improving its position. It went down because the Decora was just bad, but Thoughtmaker is better since it has better ships to be run on. Those are my thoughts. Being able to hide it underneath Quark, as I realize I never swapped to the actual card here, being able to hide it underneath Quark improves it because you're not telegraphing, hey, I can do this to you anytime I want. It's, hey, I'll mess with you when I feel like it. And I won't let you know until I'm just about to do it, at which point you will suffer. And that just feels thematic. It really, really does. Number 2 is additional phaser array. And we've taken to calling this the Fremont Special. Additional phaser arrays. Gotta fix these things. This is the Fremont Special. Because it seems like only people from Fremont are running it. And I'm not quite sure why. It's a very good card. After you make an attack with your primary weapon, you may disable this card to make an additional attack with your primary weapon at -2 attack dice. So what's not to like about a ship that rolls 6, 7 dice with boosted values, making another attack with 4, 5 dice? You know, there's ways to boost things more and piling on the damage. You're just making the attack. You can attack the same ship. You can attack a different ship. In a game where the number of attacks you get are equal, right? Every ship gets to shoot. This is a card that breaks that fundamental rule of the game and says, hey, here's one more. Quarking it on says, oh, yeah, you weren't ready for this. But oh, by the way, here, I'm going to hit you where it hurts. And I like that. I really find it devious and messy, and I think it's fantastic. Now, number 1 is the Jordan Cott Special. And that's because he ran this in Worlds. And I think this was the 2019, where he took this to second, and I mean, very easily could have defended his title and won. with this. But he ran weapon ports. And he ran weapon ports so well that nobody knew what was underneath Quark until the finals. Uh, no, sorry, I'm wrong. This is 2018. But this is where he played against Joseph. And yeah, so it was for defending his title. Because he just never encountered attack squadrons. But hiding a weapon port underneath Quark just says, you know what? The rest of my fleet's solid. The one thing I can't handle are fighters. So if I come up against fighters, they're not going to know that I have this card sitting there. But I know I have it, so I can deal with fighters. And that is one of the smoothest things you can do. It is literally saying, I got this. And you are covering your bases, and you're saying, okay, whatever happens happens, and we're good here. For reference, I am talking solely about the 4 dice 4-point weapon ports. The 3 dice 2.1, that's fine, but that does something different, and I just don't want to. I don't want to mess with that. I want to deal with being able to take out 3 attack squadrons rather than, 3 attack squadrons on 4 dice rather than 3 attack squadrons on 3 dice. I guess the one problem is if I have ways of boosting my dice, period, then the 3 is better. So I guess it all comes down to my build. Where I guess there are some advantages to the 3 dice, but you have to have lots of ways of boosting your total dice. And I'm not sure I want to invest that heavily into a fringe card, but a very surprising fringe card. So, yeah, those are my top 10 surprisingly good Quark hides. I think there's a lot to like. There are certainly other things you can include underneath Quark. I thought about enhanced hull plating. I thought about improved deflector screens. There's some really good cards. Hold on. And the thing becomes that ultimately you have to make a choice. You get 1 Quark, 1 hide, and that's that for the tournament. So you kind of have to evaluate what you think other people are going to run and what's going to help you deal with what they have. Yeah. Hopefully this list has given you some ideas of what you could hide underneath Quark. Maybe you've already thought about all of these things and I'm not giving you anything new. Of course, you could always hide Ferengi photon torpedoes, new starter fed torpedoes, quantum torpedoes, basically torpedoes of some variety, upgraded phasers, Type 8 phasers. There's things to do. I'm just saying the more expensive the card is, the better included is because Quark is saving you more points. And in a build, the savings of points is a valuable addition to your fleet. So yeah, that's it for this list. Thank you all for watching. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Take care, guys.